So Pirate and I have made our way over to the front of the Federal Reserve Bank here, home of Occupy San Francisco, where that bulbous looking nipple looks like used to be the comm station for Occupy San Francisco. This is the Federal Reserve Bank, the illegitimate Federal Reserve Bank. And Pirate and I have just stopped by here real quick to check home base and reacquire gear, set up. And putting on the old cam, head cam.
Head cam.
So thanks for the viewers that have just jumped back in. I gave a quick summary of what we're doing here. This is the front of the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco. The Federal Reserve Building in San Francisco, the Federal Representative Building of the Federal Reserve Bank itself. It says right here on the front door, it's kind of hard to see. We'll go up close, see if we don't lose a stream connection. I'm using free Wi-Fi again. 101 Market Street. You can look it up on the internet. It says Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
so,
known popularly as the Federal Reserve Building. So
let's get back out closer to the Wi-Fi.
Can you see?
Yeah, you look good. Here, let me see.
Check.
Oh, you want me to comms check? Oh, your tape's over there. No, it's off right now, and you need it down a little lower. There you go. Yeah, so we're gonna go back out this way. Once again, home of Occupy San Francisco here in front of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco.
So now,
Yeah, that's looking good.
check.
Check. Device is firing up. Device has 37 files on it.
Kick ass. So
Full battery. And
Dash.
device has fired up, is live.
Excellent. So here we are in the Federal Reserve. I remember one October 5th, some years ago, we were standing here beneath the pouring rain. The previous night we'd played do-si-do with the coppers down here at Justin Herman Plaza. We were chasing the cops back and forth around the block.
Yes.
But in the morning, after our first arrest, a young gentleman by the name of Purple got arrested for waving sage in the face of a cop. They said that cop was assaulted by fire. But we were all huddled under here.
All huddled up under here.
Rain was pouring from the open battlements as the plucky occupiers stood here, collecting our soggy food and recollecting the evening before, whereby our tents had been slashed, sleeping bags had been confiscated, people were barefooted in the rain right here, and notice the gutter, so where all the water collected. The news teams were out here mocking us.
Pirates giving a recap of a raid or
Rob
situation
and I had our
here
tent
at
right
Occupy
here.
San Francisco in 2011.
The main command tent was right here, and it went all the way back to here. There were pallets. We had pallets lashed to these battlements all the way down the block. So this was all a wall of pallets with an opening that led into the tent, whereby we would collect donations and supplies. And then we would direct our efforts at the front door of the Federal Reserve Building. And these deals right here, These were, imagine if these were sliced off the top and it were flat. Like
Yeah,
a
this
tabletop.
this nipple wasn't
Was
here
the way it
before.
was, the
This was the
nipple.
comm station where, well, first night I was here, I spent the night sleeping
and there was
right
an
here.
easy up that went over it.
Yeah, an easy up. I wouldn't call it. It was. Yeah, it was kind of over it, but it was also like tarps and.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty
Each
crazy.
one of these
Right here,
trees had something attached to it.
right here is where the bicycle was, and then the batteries were set up
Yeah.
to
And then there was a
for the
little
charging.
bin of laptops
Uh-huh.
there. And then we had our supply tent.
I'm gonna check the chat real quick.
Luggage area.
Okay, no comments. Feel free to leave
Medic
comments. I
was
will check the
there.
chat room to see if there's any comments, questions, suggestions, or whatnot. No comments yet, Pirate.
It's fine.
Yeah, and this is where there was like, what'd you say, gear check?
Yes.
There was somebody for gear check right here. There was a wall. There was I remember my first night. Things moved around, but my first night, this is right here, is where the food station was, the kitchen as it was.
Yeah, this was a snack bar. There was a snack bar and a kitchen. So at first we have like a kitchen mic.
And if you guys recognize the location, we are in position. The fucking Wells Fargo across the street there. For those of you new viewers, this is the front of the Federal Reserve building. I don't know if you can see the
Wall Street of the West. It's
FR there. The ferry building right down the street from us. Of course, the Hyatt that houses riot cops across the street. So, as you were saying, Mike, I was just letting the viewers know, the new viewers know where we're at, and quickly what we're doing. Running through some memories of Occupy San Francisco when you and I were both here. I arrived on October 10th at midnight, right before the BART shut down. So I was here all day on the 10th, 11th, 12th, and I left on the evening of the 13th. Due to hacking errors, I'd been had some computer issues and had to go back to Command Central and get shit straightened out.
Man, I love that time.
I had to recover data. I had to reinstall my operating system. It was pretty intense. That's pretty much how occupiers do it. They have sex. It's intense. Old joke.
But I really.
Oh, we got sandwich still. Right on.
Yeah.
It's like the old days.
I really
Sharing commune.
relish the memories of some of the relationships we've made here. Some that are still ongoing, like Sarah Menifee and Mike Zint and some of the more hardcore occupiers. As well as the fleeting memories of the various women I've shared my tents and sleeping bags with.
Tales of
and
pirate.
the one that got away too. The young.
Right.
Remember, she came into camp and she was washing people's feet with her hair, reenacting a biblical story of some type. This was a very beautiful, young Anglo female, fair skin, fair complected, blue hair, blue eyes and blonde hair. Yikes. God bless you wherever you are, sweet pea.
Yeah.
You're awesome. But you're a spy, and all occupiers watching this video should be advised.
Since we're pulling free data, I was thinking maybe we should cruise up towards the action zone, a little farther that way, up the street. And see if we see any of the kind of shit we saw the other night when we were offline. Pimps and hookers, drug dealers. That place was crazy.
You just want to troll around San Francisco right now?
Sure, man. I mean, people really want to know like what's reality TV. Well, you need a streamer that can cruise around and kind of show you what's going on in the streets, but it's expensive to do. And since I have a free Wi-Fi, cruising up and down here on Market, because San Francisco has free Wi-Fi from somewhere up that way to like right over there, and then there's Wi-Fi, as you saw earlier, behind the building on the dock. So Wi-Fi isn't something you really need to be paying for these days. You can get it for free if you're in the right city, in the right place. You know, those of you that have accounts for extra data and stuff, okay. You want to save a couple bucks? Talk to me. I'll check the chat room real quick. Pirate. Let's see, sandwiches.
One of my favorite things.
Sorry guys, we had to use food stamps to get sandwiches. Otherwise, we'd be glad to share. And plus, you're not here. A tour. Be glad to give you a tour if Pirate's in the mood
what?
for it. Or just kind of like we got the free Wi-Fi, and I don't mind burning the battery. You know, we can only do so much, but you never know what kind of trouble we'll run into, or what kind of trouble we'll see as we pass by. I generally carry a camera on me for hard recording, but live interaction is fun.
Can you all take a moment now to just look at this area? Bricks.
Ah yes, the ferry building. Here, I'll block the traffic. All clear.
The tour of San Francisco, for me, begins here at the ferry building, the Embarcadero.
All clear.
I had been generating some income as a frozen statue pirate. And I met some freaks from Reno who had just breezed in to San Francisco. I had been a fan of Adbusters at our tattoo shop, Metropolis Tattoo, in North Park, San Diego, California. We had a subscription to Adbusters, so I had heard about this concept of occupying Wall Street as a response to some of the crimes committed against the middle class of America through the banking and monetary systems. I'm in San Francisco. Lo and behold, it decides to come off on September 17th. At first, we were down that street, California Street, at 555. It is approximately 6 blocks. We spent a couple nights there until September 28th. We had a General Assembly at Union Square. Then we marched down here. We bypassed the Fed. We thought that the Fed might have too much security and it would be too hot for a protest. So we went to Justin Herman Plaza to camp. And then during the daytime, we will mount our assault against the Fed during the day, and at night, we would go down to Justin Herman Plaza and bivouac.
Copy that.
We did that for a while. I had decided... Sorry about the I statements. As I'm like digging it out.
Anyway.
Decided, fuck it, I'm tired of moving. I'm just gonna set a tent up right here. Well,
So,
the tent was
Pirate,
right here.
Pirate, let me get this straight.
Bud and Rob were right here.
Pirate, let me get this straight. You were here in San Francisco, and for those viewers that are joining us now, we're
Do
going.
we still have cigarettes?
We've got like
1, on.
Hold this a second. Give them a recap of what we're telling them about.
We are recounting the genesis of Occupy San Francisco.
Last cigarette, bro.
Occupy Wall Street, San Francisco Regiment was
Well,
its first
here.
incarnation.
If
The
I
first incarnation was Occupy Wall Street, San Francisco Regiment. We were a sovereign militia, well regulated. So the idea was that we would provide an unweaponized militant defensive wing against the establishment. So Occupy was a resistance movement much in the same terms as the immune system of an organism. We are the white blood cells. We are the white bloods. Yo, whatever that means.
and we're cells.
And we're
Yeah.
cells.
Anyway.
So that encompasses Arabic terrorism and domestic gangsterism with the Bloods and the white nationalist patriot Nazi militias, and the Occupy, which is run by the Tea Party, George Soros funded Rockefeller front groups such as
Beep. Were you being bleeped out, or were you doing that on purpose? Oh, you want
I'm
some of this
being a
cigarette? You want some of this cigarette?
being a dork, James.
Mm.
Sorry. I call my beloved by their first names.
Basically,
Street
your story
names.
goes more or less like this. When I met you,
Here's the story. Here's an Indian riding a horse.
Oh, Indian riding a horse. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
viewers should be able to see it. Yes,
Oh, you've got really good reception on that
I've
phone.
got fantastic visuals on this. And the
Wonderful.
battery's dying, so I'm gonna have to switch up to
All right,
secondary
hold up.
device.
Comes up.
You don't need to
Shit.
turn the light on for that. I got a light right here. See?
So the Indian is traipsing along until he finds yon prospector with his pick, and his jackass, his mule, come along, and they're like, "Whoa, Indian, we're catching up to you. We're learning how to sustain shit.
And
We're running out of stuff again."
Running out of stuff against some
You know what?
animals. There's some designs on here with
These are actually cast from 19th century bronze and iron works.
yeah, look at this. I'm not sure what that.
These
yeah.
used to be gas
That's
works.
that's a primer paint that's underneath the
Sure.
outer coat.
Sure. This is the original. Look, James, pan down. This is the original installation of a gas works. These are two iron cast
Yeah.
pieces
Oh, yeah. We want
snapped
to show
together for
the crack.
a gas line that went up here. Now this is all electronic, brand new. This is what we occupiers used to sneakily jack into.
Yeah, if you can. You got that kind of plug. You have some of that cigarette.
Cut that fucker off and blip blarp.
Yeah, put another plug on it.
Get blurped on it.
Right.
But then they replaced that. So
Yeah, and they put it back. Obviously, we can. If you know how to replace a plug in the city, quick, tactical, practical. You need to either have an adapter for that to go to 110, or maybe just a quick snip right here on the wire, and then attach your own. But
Hold up
you
a
should
sec.
be smart enough to do it. No, that's hot, dude. Are you sure? All right, let me walk away with the camera. So what you have here is practical, tactical. You employ and you import and deploy information as necessary for making the necessary needs come available to you and your squad. So practical tactical would be if you're
Waiting till the
clear
cars drove by.
or not. If it's okay when, you know, it's bright out at night and look at this cigarette. Yeah, you know, and there, I don't know, for those of you that were watching before, there seems to be a malfunction here. Anyway, like I was saying, you make it work when necessary. All right. Now, I'm not sure those of you out there that caught the broadcast the other night, but I'm going to reiterate. Get yourself a box of laser lights. You can probably get like 50 lights, pointers, laser pointers. You know, just your standard gimmick kind that even have attachments for making little symbols on the wall like peace and love and shit like that. And you take those to a demonstration, you pass them out to everybody, you say, when the helicopter flies over, point your fucking lasers at the helicopter. That'll make the helicopter go away. When the cops start charging in, you blind them fuckers with a bunch of lasers, they'll start backing up instead of approaching. Trust me. This kind of non-violent direct action will work.
It's only violent on the senses.
Sorry, I was talking so much that cigarette almost went out.
Which is like
There's other kinds of things
minimal
you can do.
compared to the damage they do to us.
There's other things you can do. I know there's people out there that want to be violent in the sense of violence, but I believe in the love revolution, the ideas and the values of Martin Luther King and Gandhi, Jesus, Buddha, just to name some of my primary heroes.
All assassinated.
I'd like to talk about the Roddenberry Project, but that's gonna take hours, so we'll do that another time. Hey, Eidolon, good to see you streaming. Yeah, we have free Wi-Fi down here. Battery's gonna die soon, so we're at Occupy San Francisco, and I'm gonna pull out my secondary device. We're probably gonna cruise on up Market Street and see what kind of trouble we can run into. We've got a little bit of time here. And since there's free Wi-Fi, what the hell? We'll just broadcast. Downtown San Francisco, 2015. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, Anarchy Cookbook shit. There, you can look there if you're brave enough to go online. You can look it up in the library. The thing is resistance to the state. We have a new world order coming down on us hard, and if you're either with the program or not, you're...
What program?
Well, the program of freedom, I guess, would be my program. You know, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, using non-genetically modified organisms for sustenance, things like that. Or you're with the other program, which
All
is...
programs must be tested and challenged. Even our own established mind thoughts have to be challenged.
Well, I grew up on Star Trek, and the Roddenberry Project is just an idea that I thought of to call it, for where we transfer society from what we have now into more or less Star Trek, where we're working together in unity to travel to the stars and beyond, where poverty has been eradicated. There is no more need for money. There is a unified cause to work together to sustain life here and to travel to the stars and beyond.
Cool. 1, that's a terrible idea. 2,
Terrible idea.
When does Gene Roddenberry state specifically that it is a capital-free society that manifests this
there's
utopian vision of star exploration?
If you know the Star Trek episodes, you know that even both of the major captains have stated that society has gone beyond the need for money and not to use it. Oh, you want to take the camera?
Oh, in specific episodes, those which cannot be named at this point,
Can't remember, but
both James Tiberius Kirk and
the original.
Jean-Luc Picard have stated on the record
I believe they were both
that there is no need for money. that the Starships Enterprise, both first and next gen, were built
You know,
for free.
maybe the
Slave labor
ideas
is always free.
the ideas of having a utopian type society where
Uh-huh.
we don't have to have money and stuff and we work together,
Volunteering.
is like some sort of dream that we couldn't come up with, to make. I mean, it is a reality. We could do this. We have the technology. We have the ability to feed, clothe, house, Medicare, Medicaid, take care of everybody in need. The psychos can be taken care of. The people that are feeble can be taken care of. Those that can work can and will work, because I'd rather be working
Yeah.
than doing nothing. I mean, this is kind of work right now, but sharing ideas and moving beyond having things. People are worshiping things, you know. They're loving those things, but people were meant to be loved.
Oh,
Things were
yeah.
meant to be used,
Oh, no kidding.
and now they're using people.
And loving
Loving
things.
things.
Wow.
So, I mean, I'm just reiterating things that
About
are.
as deep as a teaspoon.
I'm just reiterating things that have come around to me that should be able to be just common sense.
Hey, you know
People
what
should
else?
think about.
You know what
If you
else
don't
is?
say it to them, they won't think about it.
You know what else is like a teaspoon?
What's like a teaspoon?
Your warped reflection of reality.
Yeah. Thank you. Reality's done
So-
fucked up, and
Oh, sure. It is.
humanity needs to make a change. And if you and I can't do it, then somebody else needs to.
Here's what you and I can do. We can change ourselves. We can adjust our definition of consensus reality, because that's all just agreed upon stuff, like that thing is red, that thing is concrete, that's a bicycle, that's a woman, that's a nice pair of boots.
Well,
Those are the consensus realities.
Okay.
But individually, we have our own perception of those realities. What do those boots mean?
Copy
What
that.
does that human being mean? What does that building represent? So when we're able to collapse our tunnel vision, which, like a telescope, is made of different segments of different lengths compressed into one. Doesn't make any sense right now, because you're catching me on the fly, and we've been talking about this stuff for a long time.
Well, yeah, we
I
keep
don't know what
bouncing
is
off the
new
same
to talk
subjects.
about except old ass shit
Well,
in new ways.
the thing that you and I have a hard time with, I mean, is we go over the same topics that you and I have gone over with, and
Who's
it's
over here?
it's kind of aggravating to have to keep going over it. But I've been pulled into this.
It's exercise, though.
No,
It's
I've
like
been pulled into
building
this.
a muscle, you know.
Well, I've been pulled into this thing as a journalist, somebody that's supposed to be documenting what's going on and to bringing the truth to the people, because the mainstream media doesn't do it. What's going on the street for real is just that. People don't know what's going on unless they see it live.
Well, what's happening right now is that San Francisco's going home. You know, the city is winding down. We
Yeah.
need to figure out,
It
you
is
know,
pretty quiet
Mhm.
down here. I'm surprised we haven't heard any screaming, yelling, or seen any wingnuts in the half hour's time we've been broadcasting. Of course, as soon as we shut it down, somebody will come cruising up. Indeed, we will have to pull out the cameras and pull a hard recording. I recommend, for those of you viewers that cruise around in public, drive vehicles or whatever, get yourself some sort of point of view camera. I use a particular device because it is quick, easy, handy, and you know that when you just flip the switch, it goes on. This is the device right here. I'm not going to name the manufacturer because I do not
Cool.
promote products that don't support the cause.
GoPro is full.
And I don't support saying that word for sure. Don't do that.
That
I
is.
don't support.
That
I
is an
don't support
unnecessary-
commercial products.
No.
That's
not
that's
true.
that's POV cam 2,
That's not true. All right, that's fine.
or the
You
Clift
wanna
cam.
call it
We can
that.
call it the Clift cam,
Tank cam. That's
tank
fine.
cam, whatever. But
But the
I-
bottom line is that you do use products.
I do
And-
use products, but I'm not going to support pumping out the name
But
of a product.
you're using those products. That means that is supporting you. And you should at least give gratitude, appreciation, and due respect to those things that enable
I'll
your
say the name
job.
once in a while, but I won't do it on a consistent basis.
That's fine.
I think that it's
That's
You
all
know.
that does is hold you back. The way to do
it
it
holds me
is
back because
right. When
I'm
we were
promoting a multi-million-dollar.
all I'm
corporation.
saying is when we were trying to sell a record as a band, when there was a young band with fresh music trying to sell their image and their music, we had to appeal to certain brands, right, that weren't even giving us recognition. I mean, the idea is that you have to give out free samples and you turn people onto your product and then you stop the samples.
Oh, the product's already mentioned on
And
my
then they give it.
website. So
Well,
I
there
mean,
you go.
I do
I
it.
just-
It's just not on a
it's
consistent
fine.
basis. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
You know, I mean, if there's a product out there that's gonna sponsor
James,
citizen journalists
I
and
ultimately
hand out products for us to
kinda-
share, then
I kind of
I'd
don't
be
care.
glad to tout their
I
name.
mean, we can't do our job.
God damn, that's fucking loud. We can't do our job.
We can't do our job without certain tools.
Yes, and I've gone out and acquired all of the tools necessary to do my job
Now,
on
if-
my own. Nobody's given me anything. I've had to work very hard to keep this amount of streaming ability. Fortunately for the free Wi-Fi here in San Francisco, but
And-
all of my
and
equipment
just be
is
proud
the
that you've
hard.
done it on your own.
Oh, I
just
am
be
proud.
that you've done it on your
Totally.
own. Do not be upset.
I'm not upset.
Well, whatever it is that you're feeling, try not to put that on the tool itself. You know, you're in complete control. You can get whatever you want out of it.
Well,
Uh,
I'm trying to just share the information.
If I'm traveling on my bike across the country drinking energy drinks, and in that journey I meet someone who happens to represent a company that sells energy drinks, and I say, hey, I drink a lot of your stuff on the road to Washington, D.C., and they go, you know what? That's really cool, dude. How about we give you a little book of coupons so that whenever you get to a store, you can get our energy drink. And all you have to do is just say, whoo, this stuff sure tastes good. Frog energy drink. Who gives a shit? By any means necessary. You must get your message out, and you must take care of yourself by any means necessary. Now, barring the fact that it harms people or is a larcenous act against a family, individual, or group, you're good to go, man.
Okay, so
Take the path of least resistance.
right.
Know that you will not become as strong because the path of least resistance
what you're
does not
saying.
build strength. You need resistance to build strength.
Okay, so we've got a couple of comments in the chat room real quick. They want us to take us over to Golden Gate Park. I don't think there's Wi-Fi from here to there.
Far.
Yeah, that's a long ways away. This is Market Street. We're in front of 101 Market
And we can't
the
kick
Federal
on
Reserve.
tunes.
and we can kick on some tunes.
Why don't you kick on some tunes?
Okay, well we got the boom box right here. Notice how small the boombox is compared to the 80s? Yeah. Anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll shut this down. I'll pull out the secondary device for music, and we'll call it a night because the battery's about dead.
What
I want to thank everybody for
device
tuning
is
in. Well, the
that?
secondary device would be for streaming is in here. It is the music device. That's my old camera phone, Samsung Galaxy S2 from Occupy. Actually, I acquired it during Occupy as one of the comms team members for broadcasting. And it's kind of my leftover trinket. This guy's gonna fire up his live stream. So if you guys want to check out the next stream that's going live, we're gonna be on Occupirate. Is that right? Or is it Occupirate Live?
I'm getting that burned up right now.
He's getting ready to fire up the sequence now. So check out Occupirate Live. That's the name of the Ustream station. Pirate?
Yes.
Okay.
Damn it.
If you can't find that, go ahead and ping me back. Yeah, you have to get connected. There you go. Ping me back at Occupy One Liberty at Gmail. Well, it's at Occupy One Liberty on Twitter, and it's Occupy One Liberty on Gmail. Pretty easy to find. Thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other stream. Yes, there are live cams. Real quick answer to the question. There are cameras here in the building. There's, I don't know if the viewers can see it. There's one right there. Right there. There's another one on the next set of columns down, and there's one on the corner. And then as well, there are two right there. One on one column and one on the next column, and then another one down on the corner. Those were not there when we occupied in 2011.
Mine's fucked up. It wants me to log
Here, let me
back
help you out
in.
with that.
No.
Once again,
I'm
thanks for tuning in. Peace.